D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my Week in Review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just watch this video where I'm going to break it down for you by reading it to you. Also, before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, now that we got that business out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started? So for my first story this week, and I know I'm a little bit behind on this, I want to give you my thoughts on it because, you know, everybody's said their piece and I want to give my piece. So here it is. This article comes from Deadline, my favorite, and they have cast their Superman and Lois Lane for Superman Legacy from James Gunn in the DC studios over at Warner Brothers. Let me read this article and then I'm going to tell you what I think about it, you guys. So here we go. So those are the two people that they picked. And it says right here off the bat, it says, following months of audition tapes and in-person screen tests, Warner Brothers and DC Studios have their new Clark Kent and Lois Lane. David Corenswet has been set to play Superman, while Rachel Brosnahan is on board to play Lois Lane in James Gunn's Superman Legacy. The decision comes after the two were among the few selected to test in front of DC co-chairs Peter Safran and Gunn, who is directing, in full costume and makeup for the parts, which I thought that was interesting. Okay, so it says the test took place over 2 days with the men. One of the days saw the 3 actors in full Superman attire. Sources close to the situation said that each actor had closed test deals that would expire after 2 business weeks. So clearly all parties wanted this sorted out before the potential SAG and AFTRA strike, which could go into effect at midnight, June 30th. Yeah, I think, okay, so first off, I think it's interesting that they put them all in full costume. I think that's a good idea. I think you can kind of see them, although I think David Corenswet had with his the way he looks, and he has that curl, not in this picture, but he has that curl where I think he obviously had a leg up on the other 2 guys. But I do think that with this, you know, the SAG strike looming, the possibility of it, I do think that they were like, yo, we need to get this crap hurried up so we can get these people signed, we can get this all on the dotted line. And if they don't strike, then they could start filming because James Gunn has already written the script. He just can't rewrite anything while on set, which, I mean, they could do it, just wink wink. They're not gonna say that they rewrote anything. Anyways, Warner Brothers has yet to say whether it will be attending next month's Comic-Con in San Diego. I think they said they weren't going to by the time I'm recording this, but I don't remember. But I mean, will they though? I'm pretty sure that if SAG goes into strikes, they will not go to Comic-Con because that's promotion and they can't do promotion for that stuff. So I'm pretty sure they won't go to Comic-Con, and I think that's why they announced today, that they announced this week, not today, this week, that they had cast their Superman and Lois. Anyway, so there is still a chance that the two could be introduced at the studio's Hall H panel. That said, if there's a SAG AFTRA strike, Corenswet and Brosnahan could not attend the strike. Guidelines state no actors can promote any projects during a strike. Sorry, I said that just before I read this. So it says, Superman Legacy casting process has gone on for months, with Safran and Gunn wanting a thorough search to find the new leads for this new franchise. With the 2 roles now locked up, Gunn will now look to fill the shoes of Superman's arch nemesis Lex Luthor, as well as other supporting characters like Ken's friend Jimmy Olsen. Gunn, the Guardians of the Galaxy film, is directing from his screenplay based on the DC characters. Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The film is being produced by Safran. Good for him. And Superman Legacy has been set for a worldwide release of July 11th, 2025. That's a good release date. The project was announced earlier this year when Gunn and Safran laid out their plan for the first phase of this revamped slate, and Superman Legacy was front and center as the project that would help launch their strategy. That presentation also included plans for a new Batman pick, Batman the Brave and the Bold, which recently tapped Andy Muschietti to direct, and The Authority. Which I want to talk about The Authority in just 1 second after I finish this last couple of paragraphs. So for Corenswet, the film will mark his first major lead role in a major studio film, having previously appeared in projects like Pearl, Politician, and We Own This City. From the start, his name has floated to the top, and following the final audition, sealed the deal on the biggest role of his career so far. Brosnahan is coming off the final season of her career-making role in Amazon's The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which it has earned a number of accolades, including the Emmy win. She also has been on the top of the list of the woman to play Lois Lane, following what may have described as the best audition of the process. And then it tells who they're, does it tell who they're represented by? Yeah, who cares? Okay, so let me get into this real quick. All right. Let's start to talk about Corenswet. I think that both of these two were not the right choice. I think that they should have went with some unknowns, and they should have dove deeper into the pool of actors and actresses. I mean, right now we just have so many actors and actresses that are trying to get their shot, and they're just not looking at them. And I think that that's maybe what they should have done, because I think that that's what they did from the past. I think that when it comes to, for instance, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, I thought that, I know a lot of people don't like Zack Snyder. I'm not a Snyder stan, but I do like some of the things that Zack Snyder did. And one of them was, for instance, casting Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Now, I know that you may think they're not the best actors, and I agree with that. They're not the best actors, but I do think that in those roles, they did a good job, in my personal opinion. You may disagree, and I get that, but if you don't like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, we cannot be friends. I'm sorry. That man is delicious, and I love him. Anyways, okay. So I think that and those two were not like Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, before they became those two characters, were not huge names. Like, and don't try to tell me they were. Maybe in the small fan bases that they had, but they were not huge names. So that's what I wish they would have done. Because I mean, granted, these two are kind of that way, but I know a lot of people that like that Mrs. Maisel. Saying that, Superman, this is the AliExpress version of Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, he looks like Henry Cavill, just younger. And I go, if that's the case, why don't you just have Henry Cavill play Superman? And I know a lot of people have said that. And there was one dude in here that was like very unknown, and I wish they would have gone with him, because they were floating that picture of Superman where he kind of had like the fatter jaw and everything. And I felt like that guy looked the most like that picture. Okay, so here is this guy. His name is Tom Brittany. Sorry about that. And this is these are both a little low res. I apologize. But I felt like this picture right here, which they were putting forth with Superman Legacy, this one right here, I felt like he looked the most like that. You just add that little curl in there, or maybe even not. I don't think even did Henry Cavill have the curl? I don't think even Henry Cavill had the curl. So, which again, but I thought he looked the best in terms of when it came to this picture that they were floating around, and I was like, well, they should pick him because nobody knows who he is. But they didn't. They went with the AliExpress version of Henry Cavill. And I have to be honest with you, I know a lot of people are all like, oh, he was so great in Pearl. And I'm all like, yeah, all 10 minutes that he was in that movie. But I just go, for me personally, I just go, this was, I mean, I wouldn't have gone with Nicholas Hoult, because he was in the running. Thank God, because listen, everybody has spoken. They're not feeling Nick Hoult, okay, as a leading man. So thank you, but no thank you. Now let's go to Rachel Brosnahan. Now, I do not mind Rachel Brosnahan. She was good in the first, 2 seasons of House of Cards. Not a big role, but she was in there. And she did fine. And my wife loves that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But let me just tell you right now, she is not hot enough to be Lois Lane. And I just go with like Amy Adams and all these other women that have been Lois Lane. Don't get me wrong. Terry Hatcher, hot. And she did a great Lois Lane. But I honestly feel like Lois Lane needs to be this hot chick that's super smart, because and I like Lois Lane that she's feisty. I like it that she's like, She's a Pulitzer Prize winner. She's, writes these great stories, and everybody looks at her as this great journalist. But I also would like her to be like a honeypot. Like, she's like, hey, look at me, I'm hot. Give me the interview so I can not gotcha and everything. So, and I'm sorry, Rachel Brosnahan would not do that for me. But, whatever. That's my opinion on the whole thing. I don't know, in terms of this movie goes, I still like James Gunn. I really do. I like his writing. So far, I've liked everything he's done so far. I haven't seen any of his trauma stuff, but I probably won't watch that stuff. That doesn't sound like something I'm interested in. But I don't know. But as far as everything after that, I've liked it so far. So we'll see how this goes. But I think that this was not the best casting, in my opinion. And I wish that they would have, thought it out a little bit better. All right, so that is my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, all right, we got another casting thing here. So it says, this is from Hollywood Reporter. It says Dahmer star Evan Peters joins Jared Leto in Disney's Tron 3. Now, I just want to say right off the bat, Tron, the first one, love it. It's a little boring, but I remember watching it as a kid. I just loved it. Tron, the new one, not my favorite movie on the planet, but I did like aspects of it. And we can talk about that some other time. And he says, so John Chenrani, I don't know what that is, who helmed Maleficent. What is his name? I don't know what his name is. Anyways, who helmed Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, the second one, ew, and co-directed Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, ew. Is directing the sci-fi adventure. And there's Evan Peters. Like him a lot. I really like Evan Peters. He's a good actor. He was in that Mayor of Easttown. So good, ridiculously good. This kid, I really hope that this makes him shine brighter, because unlike some actors, I really want him to succeed well. Succeed well. I want him to succeed. Anyways, the actor who generated acclaim for his portrayal of the title character in Dahmer, Monster, of the Jeffrey Dahmer story, also very good. He did a great job at that. Has closed a deal to star opposite Jared Leto in Tron Ares. And I also just want to say, as far as I know lots of people don't like Jared Leto, but I love Jared Leto. I think he's such a talented actor. I know he's a big, a big nut job off screen, but in terms of him on screen, I just think or maybe he's a nut job. I don't know, but I just think he's a really good actor, and I really like him. With everything he's in, I'm just like, he did top-notch work. You know what I'm saying? Even Morbius. I know that movie is ridiculous, but I still liked it. I liked it because I knew it was ridiculous. Anyways, the third installment of Disney's technology-pushing movie series. I don't know. Joachim Ronnie is directing the feature that is due to begin shooting August in Vancouver. Getting filming off the ground would be a cope for the studio, which has been trying to make a Tron 3 for over a decade and turn Tron into a bona fide brand and franchise. So it says Disney released the original Tron in 1982. With Jeffrey Bridges starring as video game designer Kevin Flynn, who is transported into his own creation and teams up with Tron, a security program played by Bruce Boxleitner. I don't know how to say his last name. The film was not considered a box office success, but did earn 2 Oscar nominations. Ironically, neither was for visual effects, which is one of the aspects the movie became known for as it went on to become a cult hit. That's so true. Now, the effects aren't that great now, but back then they were really, really good. And I personally still appreciate them. So, I mean, like me personally, I'm not one of those people that like you look at a movie and say, well, these visual effects suck, so that means the whole movie sucked. I'm like, listen, the visual effects are not the best. They're very outdated, but I still enjoy the movie while watching it. The studio finally made a sequel in 2010, Tron Legacy, which was directed by future Top Gun Maverick filmmaker Joseph Kosinski. That one starred Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde and brought back Bridges. That movie, too, didn't exactly light up the box office with the studio like the studio had hoped, although it once again pushed visual effects as well as de-aging technology. And like I said before, I didn't really dislike that movie. I just didn't think it was kind of boring, and that's what they need to. They need to take these movies and, push them further with their storyline and make them more, better. A sequel to Legacy has been in the works on and off, with the Legacy characters earmarked to return. Eventually, that was scrapped and a new direction was set. While the two previous movies were largely set inside the world of computers and programs, the script for Ares, written by Jesse Wingentau and Jack Thorne, is said to focus on the emergency of a sentient program that crosses over into the human world that is not ready for contact. Now, I have to be honest with you. The fact that this doesn't take place inside the computer world does bother me. I'm not excited about that, and I hope that I hope it's good, but I really want them to go back to that computer world, because there's a lot of good stuff that they could do in there that I feel like they haven't really touched on in the movie space. They did touch on it in the video game space and the animated world, but I don't think that they really touched on it here. All right. Leto, who has been attached to the project for several years, is to play Ares, the manifestation of the program. It is unclear who Peters would play, although the script calls for a soldier in the computer world and an awkward gamer in the human world. Emma Lundbrook, Justin Springer, Jeffrey Silver, and Leto are producing. That's nice. Peters came to many moviegoers' attention thanks to a memorable part in Bryan Singer's well-regarded X-Men Days of Future Past. He was great in that movie, where he played Peter Maximoff, aka the speedy hero known as Quicksilver, whom he reprised in the not-so-well-regarded X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix. Yeah, those movies both sucked. It's in his TV work that he has shown his chops, however, whether he's being part of Ryan Murphy, reportedly in multiverse season of the horror anthology American Horror Story, or appearing in HBO's Mare of Easttown. Like I said before, that show was great. That miniseries was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it's a show and they're going to have a season 2, but it was season 1 was great. The latter winning him an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a limited or anthology series or movie category. I'm not going to read the rest of this just because it's just, licking his taint as far as his acting chops go, but he deserves it. So what do I think about this overall? First off, I think that this is a good get for Tron Ares, Tron number 3, in terms of hiring Evan Peters. I just don't know if the movie's going to be solid or not, you guys. And that's my biggest worry. I think that you need to take it back to the computer world, like the first movie, like all of it's set in the computer world, except maybe that first 5 minutes and the second movie. But the second movie ended on where they brought the computer people to the real world. And I'm all like, I personally do not want to see that. So, we'll see where this goes, but it has piqued my interest. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys. So that was my second story of the week. So for my third and final story this week. Okay, you guys. So it says Legends of Tomorrow star replaces late Ray Stevenson in new movie. So if you guys remember, Ray Stevenson died, unfortunately, at like 54, which is so young, you guys. I'm just so sad that he passed. But okay, so let's go down a little bit. So it says DC Legends of Tomorrow star Dominic Purcell has taken over the late Ray Stevenson's role in the movie Casino in Ischia. According to Deadline, shooting is back underway in Italy after Stevenson's death, resulting in a pause to production a month ago. He was hospitalized straight off the set with a sudden illness before passing away at the age of 58. Sorry, I said 54. 58, that's so young. He had so much more life to live. Rome, Naples, and the Epinos Island are being used for filming many sequences in the movie. Oh, that's by the way, that's Dominic Purcell right there. Very handsome. Let's see. It says Purcell, who also familiar to in Prison Break fans for his time as Lincoln Burrows, is playing the lead character Nick Casino here, an action megastar knocked off his pedestal by the next generation. In an attempt to revive his career, he travels to Italy to make the first ever neo-realistic action film with a down-on-his-luck Italian director. When unresolved family struggles resurface, he is forced to reconcile all he left behind on his road to fame, teases a synopsis. Meanwhile, when news of Stevenson's death first emerged, one of his colleagues from Thor: Dark World paid tribute to him on social media. There's Ray Stevens right there. So sad. I feel so bad. So sorry to hear about the passing, far too young, of Ray Stevenson, credits director James Gunn tweeted. I only knew him a little from shooting post-credits for Thor 2 and a couple of interactions at events, but we had some good laughs and he was a joy to work with. His friends and family are in my heart today. That is really sad, though, that he died. James Purefoy, who appeared alongside the late star in Rome, also posted, so sad to hear the news of that Ray Stevenson, our Pulo in Rome, has passed away. A brilliant, gusty, larger-than-life actor who filled every part he played right up to the brim. My thoughts are with his family, his lovely wife, Betta, and their beautiful kids. What a loss. So anyway, so the reason I'm doing this story, it's a smaller story, but the reason I'm doing it is because Dominic Purcell here, he was in Legends of Tomorrow, which I personally liked that show. Well, the first couple of seasons, they didn't lean into their silliness. They leaned into their science-y stuff. And I was like, that's not really this show's cup of tea. But I really, I think Dominic Purcell, he's great. I really like him a lot. I think he's a good actor, you know, not the best actor, but I do think he's a good actor. And will I see this movie? Probably not. We'll see. I don't know. I got to see a trailer, but you know, I think it sounds interesting. But yeah. All right, you guys. So that is my third and final story of the week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan being cast as Superman and Lois for the Superman Legacy movie? Is this something that you're into, something you're not into? Do you think these are the best choices? You know, how do you feel about it? Are you like me and you think that, you know, one's not hot enough and one just looks like, you know, a Wish version of Henry Cavill? Tell me, how do you feel about Evan Peters joining the cast of the Tron Ares, Tron 3, you know, do you think this is a good casting? Are you interested in a Tron 3, or do you think this is just nonsense and they should just give up on that whole IP? And then finally, how do you feel about Dominic Purcell replacing Ray Stevenson in this movie that he's going to do, Casino in Ishiyara? Replacing Ray Stevenson in this Casino in Ishia movie. Is this something that you're interested in or not? You know, I mean, to each their own or whatnot. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week on my weekend review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my weekend review.